Pastor Tony Mapp.
Thank you very much. Can I invite you all to bow your heads with me and close your eyes as we pray? Our Father and our God which art in heaven, holy, holy, holy be thy name forevermore. We bow in your presence, God, knowing that you are the source and fountain of all our blessings, blessings of provision and protection, and by which we are fed and kept every day, blessings of gifts and talents by which we render service to our God and to all mankind. O Holy Father, on this special evening when we gather to give honor to whom honor is due, and to express gratitude to our fellow men for exceptional and quality service, and the service they have given at the various stations in life, we truly pray that you, through your power, you who have provided for us all the resources that we have enjoyed, that you would be here to get honor in this ceremony. May you be honored because of the inspiration, the gifts, and the power you have so freely given to all the recipients this evening. May you be honored, Father, by those who have made these awards possible. And may our leaders never lose sight, oh God, that everything that they've accomplished and everything that they do could only be done through your power. Finally, Father, may you be so honored by all of us who, though we may not be recipients of an award this evening, may be encouraged by what we experience to stop by and help somebody as we pass along life's ways, so that our living shall not be in vain. May we look forward even more intently to the reward that you have prepared for all those who love you and who provide service to you through the service we give to all mankind. Father, and may we intentionally look forward to the day when you would say to all mankind, well done, you good and faithful servants. It is to this end that we pray, and we ask you to honor us in this moment with your presence. In Jesus' precious name, amen and amen. God bless you.
Thank you, Mr. Sears and Pastor Mapp. Ladies and gentlemen, you may be seated. Now it is my pleasure to welcome Mrs. Denise Toby Kwashi, Chief Administrator of the Tobago House of Assembly and the Chairman of the Tobago Day Awards Committee, to deliver her welcoming remarks. Ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together and welcome Mrs. Toby Kwashi to the lectern.
Thank you, Master of Ceremonies. The Honorable Farley Chavez Agustin, Chief Secretary of the Tobago House of Assembly, and Mrs. Takiana Ned Agustin, heads of diplomatic missions and international organizations, senators, Assemblyman Dr. Faith B. Israel, Deputy Chief Secretary, other members of the Tobago House of Assembly, Mr. Erland Kent, Permanent Secretary, Office of the Prime Minister, Central Administrative Services Tobago, Acting Chief Fire Officer, administrators, clerk of the Tobago House of Assembly, and other senior officials, members of the Tobago Day Awards Committee, awardees, members of the media, Ladies and gentlemen, good evening. Passion, persistence, promise, and purpose. Each awardee here this evening has given flight to these words, embodying them in ways that continues to inspire us all. As I stand here this evening before an exceptional group of Tobagonians, I am filled with awe and pride. I am reminded that we are indeed a special people. We are blessed beyond measure by the hand of God Almighty. A people striving to create, to learn, to give, to dream, and to achieve. This is the dual beauty of the Tobago Day Awards. It is an expression of gratitude to the outstanding sons and daughters of Tobago, and also a testament of our own greatness. Ladies and gentlemen, it is my pleasure to welcome you to the Tobago Day Awards 2024. We are grateful to have you present with us at this momentous occasion, which celebrates our people and their contributions to their beloved island. Your presence in this auditorium this evening is valued, and we are delighted that you chose to spend this evening with us. Let me also take the opportunity to extend a warm welcome to members of the Diplomatic Corps, whose presence underscores the strong bond that exists between Tobago and the international community. I thank you for joining us once again and making this event even more distinctive with your support. As chairman of the Tobago Day Awards Committee, I am particularly excited for this edition. Much of this excitement stems from the inclusion of new categories this year that reflects the evolving spirit of this award ceremony. This evening, we honor the extraordinary contribution of Tobagonian women with the Rose Gold Medal of Honor. Tobagonians who are abroad making significant impact with the Tobago Diaspora Award, and Tobagonians who are giving commendable service to this institution with the Tobago House of Assembly Award of Merit. I am truly proud to see the Tobago Day Awards celebrate a wider range of our people and recognize excellence in all its forms. Of course, none of this would have been possible without the Tobago Day Awards Committee. Therefore, I must extend my deepest gratitude to them for their tireless dedication in bringing this evening to life. It is through their unwavering commitment, along with various key departments of the Tobago House of Assembly, that we are able to gather here today and pay tribute to the achievement of our fellow Tobagonians. As always, this evening promises to be an enjoyable one, filled with stories of remarkable individuals and organizations which will resonate deeply within your hearts. These are the stories of our trailblazers that must be told, the stories of Tobagonians and Tobago residents who dare to leave the world a better place. Today, we say, your work has not gone unnoticed, and your labor has not been in vain. So, my sincerest congratulations to every awardee receiving an award from the Tobago House of Assembly. Keep building legacies worthy of respect, and we eagerly look forward to what the future holds for each of you. Ladies and gentlemen, I must utilize this platform to wish all of you happy Tobago Day. We must continue as a people to push for progress for our homeland now and in the years to come. We must continue pushing towards the greatest little island on the planet. I thank you.
Thank you, Mrs. Toby Kwashi, for setting the tone for this evening's celebrations. Ladies and gentlemen, at this time, the Honorable Farley Augustine, Chief Secretary of the Tobago House of Assembly, will share his remarks. Kindly stand and join me in welcoming him to the stage.
Thank you, Ms. Chambers. You may have your seats. Assemblyman Dr. Faith B. Israel, Deputy Chief Secretary, and other members of the Tobago House of Assembly, heads of diplomatic mission, Senators, Mrs. Denise Toby Kwashi, Chief Administrator, Tobago House of Assembly, members of the Tobago Day Awards, awardees, and members of the media, ladies and gentlemen, good evening all. You may or may not have realized, but the celebration began even before you got here tonight. Yes, before stepping into the Shaw Park Auditorium this evening, we had already started celebrating our Tobago-ness. Now, whether you came from east or west, whether you came from Trinidad, and we have a few that flew in from further afield, I'm certain that you have encountered a few incredible Tobagonians along the way. If your route led you through Scarborough, perchance, then you would have passed along a tribute to our queen, Calypso Rose. She remains a true daughter of the soil, who sheltered barriers in Calypso, showing the nation and world what it means to be a Tobago woman. And even as you approach this complex, you had to go around a roundabout named after Dr. Jacob Delworth Elder. To us, he's simply JD, one who observed our people and traditions with deep reverence. And I would like to believe he is still very much present with us through his research. I reference these because they fall in line with our administration's desire to honor Tobagonians of excellence. It aligns with our purpose for being here this evening. And even as we reflect on the developments of last year, when Tobago lost not just one, but two former elders, and might I add, two former statesmen, it reminds us that gratitude has a time frame. There is no better time to demonstrate gratitude than now. But we are happy that we were able to bestow the Tobago Medal of Honor Gold to our second chairman, Dr. Jefferson Davidson, before his life passed away last year, and posthumously we were able to honor the heavy roller, Mr. Hochoy Charles. Mr. Charles, while he was alive, insisted that he should not receive the Tobago Award until Tobago receives its autonomy. But this is a lesson that gratitude cannot always wait. And so this evening, for many of our people, many of our awardees, you have worked long and hard, and this is an opportunity for Tobago to tell you thanks. Initiatives such as the Tobago Day Awards nourish both the esteem and the psyche of our people. Ladies and gentlemen, this is positive reinforcement in action. This is showing Tobagonians, young and old, near or far, the evidence that we are capable of extraordinary feats. Ultimately, this is about empowering our people and inspiring Tobagonians to see that greatness is not as abstract as you might think. It is actually real. Indeed, we have many examples of Tobagonians and residents being great in their own right. One example that comes to mind this evening is the BTS series led by Mr. Jamel Morton. And this group of young men based in Tobago challenged themselves to restore old vehicles and later donate them to deserving families. Or what about the work of Tobagonians like Mr. Christian Tam, an entrepreneur who continues to command our respect with his vision? Yes, deserving of a round of applause. And also with his humanitarian efforts. I'm not sure if you remember during COVID, how Mr. Tam used his property to house immigrants and to ensure that they receive 3 square meals. And even as we speak, long before the state was ready to accommodate immigrants in our schooling system, Mr. Tam, at no cost, has been ensuring that they have access to education. And so we see these two aspects converge with the Port Mall in Lower Scarborough, a bustling spot in the capital city, and also a safe space for the Venezuelan migrant community, as I just described. I also think about the nimble hands of people like Mr. Lawrence Wax Crooks, playing the fiddle and tambourine for umpteen years and providing the soundtrack for a good old Tobago reel and jig. And let's not forget our intellectuals such as Dr. Susan Craig James or Dr. Rita Pemberton and Dr. Winford James. The erudite minds who continue providing us with knowledge to edify ourselves and to better understand our Tobagonian history, our identity, and even our linguistics. Also, we recognize this evening organizations such as the Tobago Emergency Management Agency. Now, they deserve more than just a round of applause. They worked relentlessly during the historic oil spill crisis earlier this year. And for so many TEMA employees, this meant long nights, as the agency was a crucial player in the island's response and recovery. This year, there are 2 new additions to the awards ceremony. For the first time, there is a category dedicated to Tobagonians in the diaspora who have achieved greatness. Also, there is the Rose Gold Medal of Honor that is dedicated to women from all walks of life who, through their work, have led to the development of the Tobago community. Also of importance is that this year, I wish to announce that there is to be the Reginald Dumas Scholarship Award to public officers, where every single year a public servant, yes, and I think this is the most deserving honor of Mr. Reginald Dumas, who also passed on recently. But this is so that every year, one public officer will be granted full scholarship to study a subject matter deemed critical to the needs of the public service here in Tobago. So the intention of this award ceremony continues to be the improved confidence and self-belief among Tobagonians, using familiar exemplars like yourselves. And while confidence is an important factor in empowerment, authority is also a key component. It is authority that fortifies the will and grants the legal framework to execute with decisiveness. I say this to say, it is high time the Tobago House of Assembly is strengthened and accorded more authority to effectively govern this little island of 116 square miles. There is a saying that we have here in Tobago: nobody can marry business better than we. And this really means that no one else looks out for our own interests like the Tobagonian. Granted, there are some Tobagonians, when they depart our shores, you question their DNA. That aside, you are in fact the fiercest advocate to advance our own affairs. This essentially sums up our aspirations for increased autonomy here in Tobago. A.N.R. Robinson said in the motion laid in 1977, long before I was even a thought by my parents, that it is about placing Tobago's affairs fairly and squarely where that responsibility belongs, in the hands of the residents of Tobago themselves. Today, as we celebrate the 44th year of the modern Tobago House of Assembly, and as we are approaching the 250th year of the existence of this parliament in Tobago, the oldest parliament in the country, Tobago continues to demand 4 simple things from the arrangement that is Trinidad and Tobago. Firstly, we demand equality of status between the 2 islands and a legislative framework reflecting such equality. Secondly, we demand a federal-type system of governance. Thirdly, we demand the definition and delineation of the boundaries of each island, and that must be placed within the Constitution of Trinidad and Tobago. And fourthly, we demand that the responsibility of the Tobago administration must be to formulate and to implement policy on all matters affecting the lives of people resident in Tobago. Therefore, this is really about us being able to take better care of ourselves and securing increased autonomy through the vehicle of the Assembly. Most importantly, it is about ensuring that autonomy reflects and captures the genuine desires of Tobagonians, which are not always the case. The very presence of so many diplomats by way of ambassadors and representatives of missions to this country at the awards ceremony this evening is so that Tobago can signal to the international community, and I want you to listen closely, that we are prepared to engage you in this, our fight for the right to self-determination in accordance with the Universal Declaration of Human Rights, the International Covenant on Civil and Political Rights, and the International Covenant on Economic, Social, and Cultural Rights. Let me be clear. Let me be pellucidly clear. You see, if this is your country, if this central government won't grant Tobagonians this fundamental rights, Tobagonians are prepared to go to the international community to get it. Any island, any people, any nation, no matter how small, should never be deprived of its right to seek the self-determination for such a long time. Tobagonians, this is the time for us to push for progress. This is the time when we cannot tire as we fight for legislative change that affects present and future generations. And it is not the sole struggle on our hands at the moment, as we must also fight against criminal elements rising across this beautiful island. Yes, there is hard work ahead, and there is still so much for us to appreciate and give thanks for. And sometimes we overlook our own magic. Even as Tobago brims with wonder and excitement around every turn, we tend to look and marvel elsewhere, sometimes forgetting the splendor that lies beneath our feet. And perhaps the reason why there is such a protracted delay in giving us that right to self-determination might very well be because somebody else understands and appreciates the magic, the beauty, the splendor, and the richness that actually lies beneath our Tobagonian feet. An island with a riveting history, breathtaking beauty, and above all, a humble and spirited people. A people who I am truly proud to see us celebrate this evening at the Tobago Day Awards. As we continue our celebrations, I must encourage you to keep on supporting the Tobago Day events. Some will be coming up post this week. Feel free to tune in to the stream tomorrow as our young students passionately debate at the Assembly Chamber. We also get to enjoy their creative engines at the Chief Secretary's Tobago Secondary School Art Competition on Friday. Please catch that stream as well. I always count it as a blessing to be able to spend Tobago Day in the company of remarkable Tobagonians. For me, most if not all of the awardees tonight are older than I am. And that's not a negative commentary on your age. That's respect for your elderliness. But standing here in your presence tells me that you did something remarkable that allowed for someone like me to self-actualize on a small island called Tobago. And so these awards remind every Tobagonian that you can actually self-actualize here in Tobago. And that many, many of our people went through our school system here and turned out quite excellently in such a way that they made impact on the local community, the national community, and the global community. And so together, we forge a future defined by resilience and hope. Together, we work towards a tomorrow that leads to a brighter, a more prosperous Tobago. Together, we build out the greatest little island on the planet. In this our 44th year of the modern Tobago House of Assembly, happy Tobago Day. Congratulations to each of you awardees, and I thank you. God's richest blessings.
Thank you, Chief Secretary Augustine, for your remarks. So, ladies and gentlemen, we now move on to the heart of this evening's ceremony, the presentation of awards. These awards celebrate excellence in various fields and recognize the remarkable achievements of Tobagonians. I now invite Chief Secretary Augustine, Mrs. Ned Augustine, and the Chief Administrator, Mrs. Denise Toby Kwashi, to the stage as we begin the presentation of awards. We begin with the profiles and the presentation of the Gold Awards, followed by the Silver Awards. Our first category, Tobago Medal of Honor Gold, for distinguished and outstanding service to Tobago. Our first awardee, Mr. George Stanley Beard, in the sphere of public service, education, culture, and community service.
I believe I was a community person all my life, being one of the 6 children of Charles Anthony and Pharaoh Beard, who were teachers. So you should know teachers were community people, and being the last of their lot, then it was in me, let's say in your DNA. When I left here I was 19 and basically went to, as I said, Winnipeg to go to school. And I recognized Canada was just a country of various immigrant populations, so a mixture of all the cultures. It dawned on me one day that at least Tobago had a number of villages and diverse cultural histories. And while there, I got the idea that, hey, we could do something with all the history and the various cultural art forms in Tobago, put it together as a heritage festival. I went to Lansome and I got the people of Lansome to support the idea that, hey, we could do something called a Blue Food Festival. The rest is history. It's all about commitment. You have to be committed to a cause. You don't follow fashions because this is red or this is blue or this is black. You have to be committed to a cause, and that cause has to be the community.
Mr. George Stanley Beard. Can we keep the round of applause going, ladies and gentlemen? Thank you. Our next awardee, ladies and gentlemen, in the sphere of education, Dr. Winford James.
I loved teaching. Wherever I taught, I loved teaching. I loved to explain stuff to my students. I like to see them learn and grow. That is without exception wherever I taught. It was the teaching service because I felt I could make the most contribution to the youths of the island, that is Tobago, and for my own advancement. And of course, I loved to read and to acquire information and to develop skills for the dispensation of that information.
Dr. Winford James, the Tobago Medal of Honor Gold in the sphere of education. Our next awardee in the sphere of public service and community activism, Mr. Sidman Murray.
At primary school, they taught us that it's important to, as we have class, when you leave school, you would continue, but you continue now in groups. Boys and girls, well, former students felt that it was time that we do some things to us to improve our standard of life. It was long and hard. We got help from seniors, right? And advantageously, we made progress even though it was slow, right? And well, from there, our groups went into become a part of the Tobago Youth Council, and even it is even so more pronounced today that you need people with strength, people of strength and substance to really ensure that you go out and encourage and lead and teach, educate, all that you can do so as to make life better.
Mr. Sidman Murray in the category Public Service and Community Activism. Mr. Sidman Murray, ladies and gentlemen. And our last awardee in the Tobago Medal of Honor Gold category in the sphere Entrepreneurship and Community Service, Mr. Christian Tam.
As I came back from university, came to Tobago, 1989 before the coup, and I've been here ever since. Initially I just came to do a job, and then ended up making a life in Tobago. That's about it, yeah. Most people think about themselves first, which is quite normal, eh? But as you get older, you know, you start to wonder, what's our purpose? And we are here for a short time on this earth. And no matter what you acquire, it's never yours. So my philosophy really is, whatever you have on this earth is really to help people. The teachings and that my parents gave me, which I think will last you for the rest of your life. A lot of people, they don't give credence to the parents now. It's okay to fail, but we programmed to be success, to be bright, to be number one. But real life is not like that. When you're in a marriage, you're in a relationship, you're in a job, you're frightened. It's okay to fail and to fall out and to fall down, but get back up.
Mr. Christian Tam being awarded the Tobago Medal of Honor Gold for Entrepreneurship and Community Service. Ladies and gentlemen, we move on now to the Tobago Medal of Honor Silver for long and meritorious service to Tobago. Our first awardee in this category in the sphere of public service, Dr. Ellis Boris.
From day one that I come into the Tobago House of Assembly, I start serving the public in a very, very organized way and try to ensure that the population of Tobago and those who may come to visit are satisfied with our service as best we can. To get started is just a motivation of the mind. The fact remains that as a person from Tobago, who is interested in Tobago's development and the progress of its people. I would dedicate my entire being for its advancement and its development as best as possible. I am trying to help the people of Tobago, who try to help Tobago as much as possible reach the highest level that it could reach. That is never ending, and we always have to work to achieve what is good for the development of the country and the island as a whole.
Dr. Ellis Boris. Once again, he's receiving the Tobago Medal of Honor Silver for long and meritorious service to Tobago in the sphere of public service. Our next awardee in this category, in the sphere of education, culture, and community service, Mrs. Harriet Job Dick.
I started teaching in January 1971, and I still teach. Having succeeded in my choir, junior choir, on the 12 Music Festival, we were champions, national champions for 3 consecutive years. In 2008, when the adjudicator announced, it was so emotional. First, they have to have a passion for what they do. They have to love children. They have to encourage the children to trust them. By so doing, you can help them do anything that you really want. And it makes the job so much more comfortable and enjoyable.
Mrs. Harriet Job Dick being awarded in the sphere of education, culture, and community service. Our next award is being presented in the sphere of culture to Mr. Gilbert O'Connor.
As a little boy about 4 years old, my father had taken me down to Trinidad. And walking down Charlotte Street, I saw them selling harmonicas on the pavement. And I said to my father, Dada, I want one of them. And he said to me, if you could play it, I'll buy it for you. And this little 4-year-old boy take up the people's harmonica and start to play a particular song. And the crowd gathered around me. That song was The Great Pretender, which was the hit song in 1954. There is an artist in each of us, and you have to march to your own drum beat. You have to learn as much as you can about your craft. Don't be selfish. Don't be afraid to learn. Don't be afraid to speak to the elders. 1985, being crowned Calypso Monarch of Tobago for the first time, singing Boy George, and passing by my grandmother who used to call me Titong Mopsy. At the same time, the clip running on television, and she said, oh, Kato, see them putting crown on my head. A Titong Mopsy that? Oh my God, oh. And that was wonderful.
Mr. Gilbert O'Connor being awarded in the sphere of culture. Our next award is being presented in the sphere of health, community service, and entrepreneurship. The awardee, Dr. Amar Singh.
I've been in health for some 50 years, and specifically in Tobago for 34 years. I've been here. I came in '89, and at that time, Mr. Dunoon, the late Dunoon, was the chief secretary. A.N.R. Robbins was the prime minister, and Benedict Armstrong was the secretary of health. And when I came, there was no obstetrician in Tobago, and I was asked by Royal Edwards, who was the chief officer in Trinidad, if I'm willing to serve here. It is rewarding to work, you know, where there are needs and people are grateful. My father taught me how to work, my mother taught me compassion, and medicine is a place where you need compassion. I will give kudos to a few doctors, Dr. Reddy, Dr. Bailey, Dr. Duke, and Dr. Bell. These are people who were very supportive. My advice to people who wants to become a doctor, first of all, you have to be compassionate. If you're not compassionate, you're in the wrong field.
Dr. Amar Singh. As we continue on with the distribution of awards in the category Tobago Medal of Honor Silver for long and meritorious service to the island, we call on awardee Mr. Arthur Stewart, being awarded in the sphere of entrepreneurship and community service.
I was orphaned from, when I say orphaned, from 14 years old. I had no parents. When I was going to school, I was in class with Dr. Winston Welsh, Dr. Rod Edwards, Dr. Carlton Louis. I was in the same class with them. But when the day when I was going to school leaving examination, I didn't go to the exam room. I went down, I was on the beach down there fishing, catching some sand grunt. Well, I was fishing temporarily because I got work. It works now. But then a cousin of mine, Boy Lou, in them days I fit in. I said to not save no money. He bought a little 12-foot boat. And I sat forward from Plymouth, build that boat for him. He asked me if I want to share it. If I want to share in it. I said, I have no money, you know. So he said, well, you could pay me. I said, all right, if it's so. So after work on evenings, we used to come down on the wharf, on the long wall, and take the boat. And we used to pull oars and go to Red Rock. And we had some fish pots outside it. So we used to pull the fish pot. In 1982, I started to build a boat. I left the work and I started to fishing full time. They had to love it and decide to work and and pay attention to fishing only.
Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Arthur Stewart being awarded in the sphere of entrepreneurship and community service. Our next award in the sphere of culture in the Tobago Medal of Honor Silver category goes to Mr. Prince Williams.
But I like culture. I love culture. Yes, no, when I was learning carpentry, I went and buy a saw, and I'm the only person on the job of a saw named Bowdown. So that's the reason why I name on me one all the time. Well, I have an uncle. I used to be with him from small. Once I had in the tambourine, put on the skin on the frame, I always be with him. From since a little boy.
Mr. Prince Bowdown Williams being awarded in the sphere of culture. And our last award in this category will be presented in the sphere of culture once more to Music Amateurs Choir. Miss Georgette Goddard will collect the award.
Rupert McCarty, Harold Yearwood, George Washington, and Felton Leith, who is the only surviving member now. They started this quartet in 1961. 1962, Harold Yearwood went to Teachers College, and Ken Washington replaced him. So those five gentlemen who are responsible for the sowing the seed that became Music Amateurs. For any young person who wants to sing well, the discipline of joining a choir gives you the training, the opportunity to work with other people, to hear harmony in music, to tune your ears to hearing harmony, because you will get a certain sound coming into your ear, which is different to the sound that you are producing, and it disciplines you into singing precisely and to work towards excellence.
Music Amateurs Choir. The award is being collected by Miss Georgette Goddard, the secretary of the group. Ladies and gentlemen, that brings us to the end of the distribution of the gold and silver awards. Congratulations to all of our awardees so far. Your contributions are truly commendable. Now, to keep the mood uplifted, ladies and gentlemen, please enjoy a soulful performance by Mr. Ricardo Seals on the saxophone. Let's welcome him with a hearty round of applause. Thank you once again, Mr. Seals, for gracing us with your beautiful music. Ladies and gentlemen, I think he deserves another round of applause. Next, we continue with the presentation of the Bronze Awards, that is the Tobago Medal of Honor Bronze for loyal and devoted service beneficial to Tobago. Our first awardee, Mrs. Bernadette Alum, in the sphere of education.
Mrs. Alum, my mother, was involved in the field of education for 44 years, from 1964 to 2009. Mrs. Alum was born to two outstanding and well-known Tobago educators in the persons of Lionel P. Mitchell and Victoria Mitchell. It was them who inspired her to enter the field of education. In addition, she had a burning passion to introduce drama in education as a teaching tool in our Tobago school. Listening is fast becoming a dying art. As educators, you have to listen. Listening is giving attention to the songs and the heartbeat of others. And it is one of the sincerest forms of respect.
Mr. Bernard Alum, her son, will collect the award. Our next award will be presented in the sphere of entrepreneurship and community service to Mrs. Sharon Benjamin.
I started off like a cafe, and then I elevated to go into the restaurant business. And that 43 years. We were in that business there for 8 years and 4 months, and it was gunned down by fire in 2000. But that didn't stop us. We rise again like the phoenix from the ashes, and we continue to do the work that we always wanted to do. God bless me with 10 sweet fingers, and I never go nowhere to learn how to cook. I was born with that. Everybody born with their gifts. And some people will think that, how is she and so sweet? But not the sweetness of the hand, it is the love. You love something that you do, you have no limits.
Mrs. Sharon Benjamin. Our next award will be distributed in the sphere of sport to Mr. James Campbell.
I was involved in sport from the age that I go to primary school, and I came out of a sort of sporting family. So while going to school, I started playing football, and that gave me the insight and the enjoyment to play the sports. After leaving school, I joined the Stokelyville club, which is my home team at Plymouth. And after getting involved with them, after my years of playing, where we win many tournaments, I started to get involved now in coaching and trying to help the young people in my community. One of my most enjoyable moments is to see that we could win tournaments, and as a coach that I could produce national players coming out of my village. The journey is not an easy journey, but if you want to inspire in sports, you have to learn to work hard, you have to have a level of discipline, and you have to have a lot of commitment to achieve your goal in sports.
Mr. James Flabat Campbell. Our next award in the category of the Tobago Medal of Honor Bronze in the sphere of education, ladies and gentlemen, Mrs. Shara Carrington James.
Shira Carrington James has been dedicated to the field of education for 38 years. Her journey began at Signal Hill Secondary School, where she taught from 1987 to 2009. Following that, she served as both vice principal and principal of the Scarborough Secondary School until 2015. Her passion for helping children was inspired by her upbringing in Delaford and her father, who was a respected educator in her community. Witnessing the needs around her and the positive influence her father had on the others motivated her to pursue a career in education. One of her proudest accomplishments is becoming the first female archery instructor in Tobago, achieving Level 3 certification. Mrs. Shira Carrington James initiated a steel pan manufacturing program at the Goodwood Secondary School, where students are actively involved in crafting steel pans. This program not only preserves our cultural heritage, but also provides students with practical skills and the opportunity to create pans that are available for sale to the public. Watching my students develop confidence and pride through these hands-on projects has been incredibly rewarding, and are memories I hold close to my heart, she said. Mrs. Shira Carrington James advises young people to focus on the goals directly in front of them. Strive to excel at each stage, and you'll ultimately reach your desired destination.
Mr. Trevor James will collect on her behalf. We move right along to our next award being distributed in the sphere of culture. The awardee, Mr. Lawrence Wax Crooks.
I was privileged to grow in a home where entertainment, was the basically, because at that time, gramophone, I don't know if you ever experienced seeing one. That was on the face out. And gram was replacing gramophone. And my father bought a gram, so I grew in a house with music. Because I really started playing music at the age of 8, And I'm 69 now. Most of the things I could play self-taught. I take pan, the first instrument, pan. And I take the music from pan and carry to guitar, to bass guitar, to keyboards. You understand? One thing just trigger the next. Every day is something to remember. In the sense that I'm into teaching. I'm not selfish. What I know, I believe I should just pass it on. That when a person should start to perform with perfection, the question will ask, who was your tutor, or who trained you? When they say wax, it's a joy to my heart. When heritage time comes, wax is the man. Yeah, wax is the man. But when wax no longer the man, who is going to take up this slack? I would like to see that in the secondary schools, like from third form, because the trend started to develop now.
Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Lawrence Wax Crooks, being awarded in the sphere of culture. Our next award in the field of sport goes to Mr. Clement Hercules.
I held on to coaching, particularly in Tobago, because I wanted to work with people here so that they must reach the standard they wish to. And I'm one of those who believe that stars are made. Not only stars may be born. I don't want to go into that. But I believe that we can make stars because the technical aspect of the thing that I did not know when I was very young here, when I went to Trinidad, and then subsequently England, I understood that we can make stars. And you can get the sort of information that you need and the information that is required so that you can progress to the very highest level.
Mr. Clement Hercules being awarded the Tobago Medal of Honor Bronze in the field of sports. We move on to our next award in the sphere of education and public service, our awardee, Mr. Mbau Moheni.
If there's one time that I was always happy is when school is about to reopen. My holidays, I enjoy teaching more than the holidays, to be honest about it. You know, so that you are there, you could serve, you could participate, you could interact, and you could try to get the students to improve in all areas, not just academically, not just to get a certificate, not just to get a distinction, but also to be better individuals.
Mr. Mbau Moheni. Our next award is being distributed for education and community service to Mr. Hezekiah Wood.
I'm a teacher for the past 50 years. That is all I did for my lifetime. When I was going to secondary school, I had a teacher who was very good. He used to explain the subject and we used to understand. So I said, I want to be a teacher. Teaching is a profession that if you don't like it, don't go into it. Some people go into it to get the money and to get the holidays. If that is your aim, leave it alone.
Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Hezekiah Wood. Our next award, ladies and gentlemen, goes to a group in the sphere of culture and community service, the Charlottesville Heritage Performers.
Charlottesville Heritage Performers is the place to be. It helps to pass on information and knowledge and culture on the island, and as you very well know that our day is called Natural Treasures Day, and what we basically showcase is the treasures of our community, the singing, the dancing, the drumming, the dancing of the cocoa, the worship. These are all treasures of our community, and we take pride in passing this tradition on.
Miss Camille Dillon is collecting the award on behalf of the group, the Charlottesville Heritage Performers. Our next award, distributed in the sphere of culture, goes to yet another group, and this time Dance Ensemble Tobago.
Dance Ensemble is known as Tobago's premier ballroom and Latin dance group, and we had our genesis in the 1980s. We are 30 plus years old. I think one of Dance Ensemble's greatest achievements is our dance sport competition. We are in our 11th year, and for the last 6 years or so, we've had a segment called Dancing with Caribbean Stars, where we approach prominent persons to take part in the competitions. In terms of community outreach, Dance and Sam has also been part of the schools. Some of our members are teachers like myself, and we have started clubs in the schools. Schools have also approached us for their graduation ceremonies, and we've helped in those areas. The Police Youth Club as well. And we like to consider ourselves the umbrella organization for Dance in Tobago. So there are several other dance groups that are spin-offs of Dance and Sam. So some of our tutors, who by the way are professionally qualified through the IDTA, the International Dance Teachers Association of the United Kingdom, and also the VIDA, which is United States based.
Ladies and gentlemen, Ms. Nidra Stewart, the secretary of the group, is collecting the award. Let's congratulate the group Dance Ensemble Tobago. We continue with the distribution of our awards in the Tobago Medal of Honor Bronze category. We move on to the sphere of community service, the awardee, the Mason Hall Police Youth Club.
It's a joy knowing that you can make a difference in people's lives. But again, you have to be positive, and you have to just believe in your dreams, and once you have the passion, just to see young people develop, your community becomes better. I think our history in the community has shown that. We have been very active and involved in the community, as I said, from 1998, consistently. And we have, as a group, we have won several awards. We have not only impacted the community with our projects, also nationally and regionally. Right? So we have been, a shining light, I would say, not just in the community, but for Tobago.
Mr. Dexter Edwards is collecting the award on behalf of the group, the Mason Hall Police Youth Club. And our last awardee in this category, the Tobago Medal of Honor Bronze for loyal and devoted service beneficial to Tobago. In the sphere of culture, ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together for T&Tech New East Side Dimension Steel Orchestra.
The T&Tech New East Side Dimension has been around for quite some time. The most memorable experience of the group, I would say, since that I was a part of this experience, was capturing the national small band title this year at the Skinner Park. The group has been participating in the small band category for the last 8 years, if my memory serves me right. I have been a part of that for the last 7 years. And, it's been a really up and down challenge where, we doing good one year, we doing good, we fall short, and this year it was really good to see that all the determination and hard work and late hours that, we finally get to cross that line and brought the title back home to Tobago. I will always encourage persons to get involved in the culture because great is the art form.
Mr. L. Vaughn Beckles, the group's manager, is collecting the award on behalf of the T&Tech New East Side Dimension Steel Orchestra. Ladies and gentlemen, can we have a huge round of applause for our Bronze Award recipients? As we pause to celebrate Tobago's rich cultural heritage, we are delighted to welcome on stage at this time Delicia's Dance Academy as they perform an indigenous Tobago dance. Ladies and gentlemen, let's give them a warm round of applause.
for true. Darling, let me go down for you. Go down, Congo girl, go down. Go down, Congo girl, go down. Me, I love you, me, I love you, me, I love you for true. Darling, let me go down for you. Go down, Congo girl, go down. Go down, Congo girl, go down. Congo. 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 Me, I love you, me, I love you, me, I love you for true. Darling, let me go down for you. Oh, me not go down. Salt water, give me some. Salt water, give me some. Congo belle, 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 Congo belle. Elena Bobo, Elena Gal, 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 Elena Bobo, Elena Gal. Salwater, give me some. See me, we go down low. Salwater, give me some. Hey, we not go down low. Salwater, give me some. Hey, mama, salwater, give me some. Hey, mama, salwater, give me some. See me, how me I go down low. Salwater, give me some. See me, how me I go down low. Salwater, give me some. See me, how me I go down low. Salwater, give me some. Go down, Congo girl, go down. 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 Congo, Congo belle, Congo belle, Congo belle. Go down, Congo girl, go down. Go down, go down, go down, Congo girl, go down. Go down, go down, go down, Congo girl, go down. Go down. Eh mama kalu kalu, eh kalu kalu, 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 eh mama kalu kalu, eh kalu kalu. Eh mama kalu kalu, eh kalu kalu, 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 eh mama kalu kalu.
Thank you to Delicia's Dance Academy for showcasing the vibrancy of Tobago's cultural traditions. Ladies and gentlemen, we now move to the final segment of our awards presentations, which includes the Rose Gold Medal of Honor for Women, the Tobago House of Assembly Award of Merit, the Tobago Diaspora Award, and the Chief Secretary's Awards. In the category Rose Gold Medal of Honor for Women for Outstanding Achievement by a Woman, our first awardee in the sphere of education, Dr. Suzanne Craig James.
I have been in this sphere in an unbroken way for 53 years, and I'll tell you how it happened. I went to school, to secondary school at Bishop Anstey High School in Port of Spain. When I passed my A-levels, I returned to Tobago and I taught at Scarborough Secondary School from the 1st of January to July of 1966. And then I went away to study at the University of Edinburgh, where I did sociology and politics. I had about 10 severe asthma attacks that took me to the edge. And I have to give God thanks for sparing my life after 10 attacks like those. I should like to express my deepest gratitude to the Tobago House of Assembly and the people of Tobago for this high honor of the Rose Award Gold. One does not walk life's road alone, so I have to give God thanks too for my parents, Lionel and Cislin Craig, now deceased, who made so many sacrifices for us, for the hundreds of Tobagonians who were happy to share with me stories and songs, for those in Trinidad and elsewhere who have held my hand along the road, and for my family who continue to stand with me today.
Dr. Suzanne Craig James receiving the Rose Gold Medal of Honor for Women. Our next awardee in the field of education, Dr. Rita Pemberton.
Well, since I was in high school, I became interested in history and learning. Conversations with my grandparents, whose grandparents were migrants to Tobago from other Caribbean territories. That sparked a particular kind of interest, with respect to the things they did, the things they said, the way they prepared foods and so on. By the time I got to sixth form, we were being taught European history, English and European history. And still, but then I also encountered poetry from, Mr. Roach. So, and he lamented that he had gone to school and he had learned nothing about himself. But that really struck a bell with me to find out more about me and more about Tobago. I recognize fully the importance of people understanding themselves, understanding their roots, and all these, and understanding their communities. All these have a part to play in their ability and their willingness to learn.
Ladies and gentlemen, Dr. Rita Pemberton. And our last awardee in this category, the Rose Gold Medal of Honor for Women, Miss Gemma Seeley. She's been awarded in the sphere of entrepreneurship.
She decided to open the business when she was working at Blue Waters Inn. She was the head chef there at the time. I don't know what year. And customers used to ask she about local food in Speyside, and from there she got the idea to open her own restaurant. Well, it's a family-oriented business because most of the staff are family. Well, we have one or two staff that isn't family, but most of us are family in the kitchen. Have a clear vision on what you're doing, know your market, make a flexible plan, be able to network. She will leave an impact in Tobago's tourism. I know that for sure.
Miss Valine Bernard, her granddaughter, is collecting the award on Miss Gemma Seeley's behalf. Our next category of awards, ladies and gentlemen, the Tobago House of Assembly Award of Merit for ongoing, outstanding, and meritorious service in the Tobago House of Assembly. Our first awardee, Mrs. Lizanne Greenwich Edwards.
I have been in the field of public procurement within the division as a manager for a little over 1 year. Prior to that, I was the supervisor of public procurement for 7 years. I have been a public procurement practitioner for a little over 15 years, which would have equipped me with a broad perspective on different procurement practices and procedures. I was drawn to public procurement because of the crucial role it plays in ensuring that public funds are used with transparency and used responsibly with transparent process, accountability, and value for money.
Ladies and gentlemen, Mrs. Lizanne Greenwich Edwards. Our next awardee in this category is Dr. Tiffany Hoyt.
I started in public health in 2010 as a medical officer 1 in the office of the County Medical Officer of Health in Tobago. And from December 2016, I started acting in the position of County Medical Officer of Health for Tobago. COVID-19 now started, and we started getting cases. We had some long days and nights. We were working Sunday to Sunday. We were leaving the office 12 midnight, 1 a.m., and then back at work 9 a.m. But what I have to say was my most memorable moment coming out of that was the way that the staff camaraderie and to see how staff came together and the dedication of the staff. That's something that I can never forget. Anybody getting into any field, I will always say, pursue something that you're passionate about. Because once you do something you love, you would never work a day in your life.
Ladies and gentlemen, Dr. Tiffany Hoyt. I now invite our next awardee in the Tobago House of Assembly Award of Merit category, Mrs. Natalie Jones Johnson.
I am a secretary to the administrator at the Division of Settlements, Public Utilities and Rural Development. I have been in the secretarial field for the past 20 years. I was initially employed in April of 2004 in the position of Secretary 1. 1 year later, I was offered the position of Secretary 3, and I have been functioning in that position ever since. Ever since I was young, from about the age of 12, 13, I always used to say that I wanted to be a secretary. And of course, when the opportunity came, I grabbed at it, and the rest is history. Different persons have different personalities, and if they're anything like me, I had about 15 or more bosses in my lifetime, so I had to adjust. So you get to know your boss, get in the habit of writing things down, set reminders, prioritize. Don't be afraid to ask questions and use your initiative, because your boss will not always be around when there's a decision to be made.
Mrs. Natalie Jones Johnson, receiving the Tobago House of Assembly Award of Merit. Our next award, ladies and gentlemen, goes to Mr. Imo Jordan.
First of all, I'd like to thank the person or persons who nominated me for this award. I'm very grateful and humbled for this honor. I'd also like to dedicate the award to everyone that helped me on this journey. I started at the department 27 years ago. I was given an opportunity to train with the Department of Information. And I fell in love with the environment, and not just the environment, but the process of creating. I could actually remember walking into the information studios for the first time, seeing the lights, seeing the mixing board, seeing just buttons to press. Like a kid in a candy shop. And right there, I promised myself that, okay, I am going to learn about every single piece of equipment in the studio and become the best at it. Technology and the dissemination of information goes hand in hand. We also know that technology changes all the time. So we have to actually be aware that in order to be successful in the field, you need to actually change with the environment. Trust God to guide you in service. Right? The book of Luke, Jesus said, greatness are those who serve best. Right? So it doesn't matter what field you're in, it doesn't matter what task anybody gives you to do, you do it to the best of your ability.
Ladies and gentlemen, my co-worker, Mr. Imo Jordan. And our last award in this category, the Tobago House of Assembly Award of Merit for ongoing outstanding and meritorious service in the THA, Mr. Collis McPherson.
I have been employed with the Division of Finance as of the 12th of November 2012. Well, I've been in the construction sector for a little while, and after working a little while at the Division of Tourism, the opportunity arose, for me to be interviewed, which I did when I saw the advertisement. and I was successful at the interview, and when I took on that challenge, and to date, I've been enjoying it. In 2013, my first daughter experienced an illness, and it was really, really kind of touching to the family. And one day, I received a phone call from the Director of Finance, which was at the time Miss Diane Baker Henry, and she handed me an envelope, and inside of that envelope was a contribution taken from the staff. And when I look at the quantum of the money, I was really, really impressed, to know that I was so much appreciated by the members of staff. So as a result of that, I said to myself, I have to raise the standard of performance on the job. This environment requires a lot of respect. It requires communication and a humble spirit, because you're working with persons of different background, varying, tenacity. So I think, that one must possess, qualities, of humility and a level of dedication to the job.
Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Collis McPherson. Ladies and gentlemen, let's congratulate Mr. Collis McPherson receiving the Tobago House of Assembly Award of Merits. So we move right along to our next category, the Tobago Diaspora Award for Outstanding Contribution of Members of the Diaspora. Our first awardee in the sphere of entrepreneurship and culture, Mr. Ralston Charles.
Sometimes we get a call, and we got to respond to the call. There was so much needed someone to produce and promote the steel band and calypso in America. When I was arrested for promoting steel band and calypso, that's the first time I've had a handcuff on, because I got into it with someone in a party. They was not playing calypso. Those are the moments I like to remember. I remember those moments. I remember when I went to the radio station on 2nd Avenue, WLIB, when they stopped playing calypso, and I went there and demonstrate to have them play the music again. Those kind of memories that I like to remember. Look back at your historical past and what you have done, what you have achieved, and what it looks like, and they can take out from and add into what they're doing. And that's one of the good ways that the young should go about doing the things.
Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. George Charles will collect the award on Mr. Ralston Charles's behalf. Our next award is being presented in the sphere of community service to Miss Angela Cooper.
Volunteering. Those young people, I just love to work with them. And to see that you can impart so much knowledge to them and to hear their stories, it gave me that kind of rush, like a dopamine rush, where you felt good, and most times you end up crying because you realize that people out there just need people, and we need to always be there for people. The young people who wants to get into volunteer, what I would say is that we're all born for service, and life isn't about monetary gains all the time. So what I would tell them is to find what you love to do and do it with passion and conviction.
Ladies and gentlemen, Miss Angela Cooper. And our last award in this category is being distributed in the sphere of literature to Miss Marlene Nobesi Philip.
I think most writers and poets would say that it's something that calls to you, you know, and when I practiced law, I always knew that I wouldn't stay in law always. And as I said, I was writing poetry while I practiced law. But on a deeper level, I want to say this. I think that people who are in the field of literature, people who are artists, musicians, dancers, I think that they and we are all charged with a certain kind of work. Sometimes you can call it soul work, spirit work.
Ladies and gentlemen, our awardee, Miss Marlene Nobesi Philip. And we are winding down, ladies and gentlemen, as we have arrived at the last category of the Tobago Day Awards 2024, the Chief Secretary's Award for Outstanding Contribution and Significant Achievement within the previous calendar year. Our first awardee in this category, in the sphere of entrepreneurship, Mrs. Asha Mars Lewis.
I've been involved in the wedding and event industry for 15 years, with 13 of those years as a full-time professional. And a year and a half into event planning, I got a grant from the business development unit. So this grant allowed me to create a home office. And I will go to the office on a daily basis. By the way, this home office really fueled my passion. I decided to resign my day job and do business full-time, dreaming of a business vision and seeing this dream become a reality. Believe in your dream and yourself. Faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen. Be consistent. Every day is fishing day, not every day is catching day. It takes consistency to be successful. Last but not least, be client focused.
Ladies and gentlemen, receiving the Chief Secretary's Award, Mrs. Asha Mars Lewis. Our next award is being presented in the sphere of entrepreneurship and community service, receiving the Chief Secretary's Award, Mr. Jimel Morton.
About 8 years ago, I started, and let me say within the last 2 years, we're actually doing the work that we're doing now in terms of the community service, the giving back, that kind of thing. I had a definite debt in my family in terms of my grandfather, and that shook me up, and I really realized that nothing don't make sense material aspect wise, right? And it's all about exactly how you can impact people who you have around you with what you have around you at this present moment. It happened about 2 months ago. Me and my same business partner, we was in KFC, and he was about 6 years old. And he said that he watched one of my videos and he pulled out the $10 that he saved him for the longest while and gave it to me and told me to bless somebody else. Literally, start with, it has so much opportunities outside of here. Anything possible, you just have to believe in yourself, literally.
Receiving the Chief Secretary's Award, ladies and gentlemen, is Mr. Kester James. And our last award is being distributed in the field of disaster management. Ladies and gentlemen, this award is being distributed to the Tobago Emergency Management Agency.
I think I am very fortunate, and disaster management in Tobago is very fortunate. The endearment that the public normally signal towards TEMA, and to me especially, are not praises that I could hold for myself. So I want to take this opportunity to really thank the staff body that we have. I think we have some of the best workers on the island, the persons that make themselves available for this career path, people that are already dedicated to service, and I want to thank them wholeheartedly for doing such a wonderful job. You have made the island proud, and that endearment that TEMA enjoy comes because of you.
Ladies and gentlemen, TEMA's director, Mr. Alan Stewart, is collecting the award. And ladies and gentlemen, that is how we end the presentation of awards this evening. Congratulations to all of our awardees. Your efforts and contributions really make Tobago shine brighter. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to hear a lusty, and when I say lusty, I mean lusty round of applause for all of our awardees. To serenade our awardees at this time and add more elegance to this evening, please welcome, ladies and gentlemen, the talented Miss Stephanie Joseph to the stage.
Pleasant good evening to each and everyone. I must say congratulations to all the awardees here tonight. And you all, this song is to let you know to keep dreaming.
Close my eyes and I can see a world that's waiting up for me that I call my own. Through the dark, through the door, through where no one's been before, but it feels like home. They can say it all sounds crazy. They can say I've lost my mind. I don't care if they call me crazy. We can live in a world that we design. 'Cause every night I lie in bed, the brightest colors fill my head. A million dreams are keeping me awake. I think of what the world could be, a vision of the one I see. A million dreams is all it's gonna take. Oh, a million dreams for the world we're gonna make. There's a house we can build. Every room inside is filled with things from far away. Special things I combine, each one there to make you smile on a rainy day. Oh, they can say it all sounds crazy. They can say we've lost our minds. But I don't care if they call us crazy. We can live in a world that we design. 'Cause every night I lie in bed, the brightest colors fill my head. A million dreams are keeping me awake. I think of what the world could be, a vision of the one I see. A million dreams is all it's gonna take. A million dreams for the world we're gonna make. However big, however small, let me be a part of it all. Share your dreams with me. You may be right, you may be wrong, but say that you would take me along to the world you see, to the world I close my eyes to see, my eyes to see. 'Cause every night I lie in bed, the brightest colors fill my head. But a million dreams are keeping me awake. I think of what the world could be, a vision of the one I see. A million dreams is all it's gonna take. A million dreams for the world we're gonna make. For the world we're gonna make. Keep dreaming. Thank you.
Thank you, Stephanie, for that very enchanting performance. Let's hear it one more time for her, ladies and gentlemen. So as we near the conclusion of the official aspect of this evening's program, I would like to extend a heartfelt thank you to everyone who made this evening possible. On behalf of the Tobago Awards Committee, we express gratitude to our esteemed guests, performers, and most importantly, our awardees for their exceptional contributions. Let's give a big round of applause, ladies and gentlemen, for everyone who made this evening Tobago Day Awards 2024 a success. We now invite all our awardees to join the Chief Secretary, Mrs. Ned Augustine, and the Chairman of the Tobago Awards Committee, Mrs. Toby Kwashi, for a group photo session. Ladies and gentlemen, this marks the end of our official program. Thank you so much for being a wonderful audience. I'm Davia Chambers. Happy Tobago Day. And please note that the cocktail reception begins right after, and you'll all be escorted. Thank you again.